What's going on, guys? So another week down in the books, and this week was a little bit different from others. Actually, wore all three Zed Creator fragrances this particular week, so I will give you guys my initial thoughts on Justin and Andrea's creations in here. I mean, I've talked about mine many times. It's actually what we're starting the week with. And a few new additions, some Middle Eastern fragrances that I've added to the collection. And yeah, just want to talk to you guys about them and move on from there. So it's week number 156. Stay tuned. So until I got back home, I didn't have any out the shower fragrances because I brought all heavier stuff with me, so I didn't wear none of this out the shower. But starting off on Sunday, like I said, we were in Chicago handling everything, putting bad boys like this together. This evening Mystique, which is my creation in collaboration with Zaharoff, my new fragrance. Man, I can't wait for everybody to smell this. I'll be back after recording this in a few days. I'll be heading back to Chicago to wrap bottles, pack orders, finish making samples, finish signing cards for orders, and so on and so on. Still a good bit to be done. But as far as the fragrance, if you like fresh, spicy, aromatic at the top, nice, creamy, somewhat waxy and powdery iris with a lot of resins and incense. That's the main thing that is the biggest, I guess you could say, difference from the evolution of the previous fragrance is it's so smoky and resinous. It's such a darker, heavier fragrance. This is a 25% pure parfum concentration. It wears as such. It wears heavy. It's got a great sillage. It lasts a very long time. It's deep, rich, and robust. Still iris forward. There are a few notes tying it to the original's DNA, such as coriander, amber musk, patchouli in the dry down, and then of course the Florentine iris. But majority of the supporting notes are completely different. To make it mostly a completely different fragrance, you will smell the original's DNA, but it's a complete evolution while still maintaining being a true flanker. It definitely stands on its own and stands tall. This is so much more brash, outspoken, very enigmatic and mysterious, hence the name Evening Mystique. It's strong. Like I said, if you're into Middle Eastern style fragrances, mixed with iris is kind of how you can look at it, because there's frankincense, there's olibanum resin. There's two different types of frankincense. There's myrrh as well, adding to that resinous tone, as well as orchinox in the dry down, which is in the ambergris family. So you don't get a heavy cleanliness to it, but in the deeper dry down, it does work well with the clean patchouli and musk that are in this fragrance. Just lovely. Can't wait for everyone to experience this on Sunday, Evening Mystique. Moving into Monday was a Lattafa fragrance. I had just used it the night before in a blind smell and rate with Justin on my channel, which check that video out if you haven't yet. But this is from Lattafa. This is Bade'e Al-Oud Amethyst. This is their clone of Inicio's Atomic Rose. I absolutely adore this fragrance. It is beautiful, rich, and thick rose. God, this smells so good. There's a brightness and a freshness to it. There's a little bit of an oud in the background. It's just so magical. Very woody rose smell, but more on that thick, rich side of rose. This is just so beautiful. Gorgeous sillage. Not the loudest fragrance if you're a moderate sprayer, which with fragrances like this, I'm on the moderate side because I'm typically wearing hoodies or jackets and stuff like that, and I don't want to spray my clothing when it comes to these heavier wearing fragrances. And this one, God, I smell it in the air still. This is good stuff. You can get it in the $40 range. I have smelled Atomic Rose before. I do have a decant it's a 2 ml decant that I've used about 1 ml of. And it's not the same quality, obviously, but they pretty much nailed down the scent profile. This stuff is magnificent and does not smell cheap. Really digging this one. Super happy to have it. I will be doing a full review after I do a few more wearings of this one to give you more in-depth thoughts. But on Monday, Bade'e Al-Oud Amethyst. Moving into Tuesday, this was travel day. This was my first full wearing. I'd already did a few test sprays of this, and this was sent to me by my buddy Steve over at Kingdom Fragrances. He told me he can't seem to keep this one in stock. I've seen a lot of scent of the day posts on Instagram over the last several weeks to, well over a month. I can understand the hype behind this. So this is from Soma Parfums. This is Halcyon. I believe that's how you pronounce the name of the fragrance. This stuff is so good. So good. As soon as I got in the car with Justin and George, Justin commented on it. So the easiest way I can describe this one to you is picture Angel Share. Now add a more powdery tone to it as it dries. Add some earthiness to a tobacco type of smell. And tone back the booziness. And you get this. Like I said, not the same fragrance, but you will get an idea of that. But I find this to be a deeper, more complex scent profile to that. The sillage is amazing. The performance is fantastic. It lasts and lasts and lasts. Projections on the, moderate to heavy side. It's not a beast room filler, but it's definitely on the stronger side. This stuff is so good. I understand why Steve said he can't keep this in stock. This stuff is, I guess, slowly gaining a little bit of like under the radar hype, if that makes any sense. Like those that know, is kind of how you can look at this one. Like not everybody has understood or heard of this fragrance yet to really go after it. But man, I got a full review coming on this one. I absolutely love it. I wore it again. We're about to cover it again in a few days. I wore it again like the 2 days after. This stuff's awesome. This is one of the best niche pickups to come into my possession this year for sure. This is better than Angel Share. Yes, I've recently gotten Lattafa Camera. That's a great fragrance too. Much, much, much cheaper smell than this. This is top tier luxury smell. This is a true niche fragrance, and it's cheaper than getting Kilian's Angel Share. Man, get a sample and try this one, guys. This is magnificent. Full review coming very, very soon. This is Halcyon from Soma Parfums. Moving into Wednesday, I was so excited to wear this one because it just smelled so magnificent on Justin. His sillage was immense. It's great sillage. All three of these fragrances have great, long-lasting, pretty heavy sillage. I ended up going with Second Soul, Justin's new creation with Zaharoff. So just I'll slowly show you guys. So this one, the reason I went with this one, you see that little nick right there? I think I was the one, still with the plastic, accidentally dropped it, and it got this little nick. And I said, you know what? I'll just keep that one for me. That'll be my bottle, because obviously we give each other bottles of our fragrances. So I was like, that'll be mine. I'm fine with that. I'll just let everybody know that's why the nick's there. So I'm cool with that slight imperfection because there's a story behind it. You know what I mean? It's all about the storytelling. So this thing, so some of you have smelled Brass and Soul. For those of you that have, it was a very bright, aromatic, spicy fragrance. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Great everyday wear. This is an evolution on that. It is a flanker to Brass and Soul, just like Evening Mystique is a flanker to Business Over Pleasure. Whereas you will smell a tie-in to the original's DNA, but it's just so much more deep and complex, as is with Evening Mystique. So the main points of this fragrance that I am in love with is the suede note really comes. It's kind of a musky suede that comes out on my skin. It's a boozy smell, but you still get the aromatics and spices, but it's much deeper, darker, and richer overall. And like I said, on my skin, the suede takes hold and never lets go. I love that. It really dominates my skin. Not immediately. You get it in the background. It's more spicy, aromatic, and boozy at the top. And then it starts to become more ambery, a bit resinous. And it's just a lovely fragrance overall. It's a leathery, boozy take, deep, dark, and rich take on the original scent profile. Not the same fragrance, but its bigger brother. Kind of, again, I tie back the same thing with Evening Mystique. Turns out we ended up doing something similar as far as the evolution without even realizing it until we were done telling each other, hey, this is what I've been working on. So kudos to Justin. I really, really dig this one. Even though it was intended for evening wear in cooler weather, like I've been having, cool to cold weather, it's a great daytime fragrance if you like suede, leather, booze, any of that stuff. So good. So good. We're going to spray it in the air one time. And again, performance is fan-frickin-tastic on me, just like it is on Justin. All three of the fragrances have ridiculous performance. This is a 24%. A strange number. Even though it's an even number, it's an odd number because you don't see 24% too often. God, this smells so good. Whew, God, that's good. So with this one, he told me 25% actually made the top fall a little flat. Just dialing it back 1% was perfection. And I believe for what he was going for, this is perfection. He nailed it. This is a great fragrance. I can't wait for everybody to get their nose on it. I'll do a full review at some point. I've only done one full wearing, which was this one so far. Obviously, I've had test sprays of it, but this was my first full wearing, and the wearing experience is magnificent. Again, that was Stay Fresh Productions and Zaharoff, Second Soul. Then I got the shower. I ended up going with Abercrombie and Fitch First Instinct together because I was back home on this day. That's why I decided to start busting out Andrea and Justin's fragrances. And I had not worn anything real fresh out the shower in days and days at this point. So I was itching for it. I saw this one on the shelf. I grabbed it and sprayed. Bright, fresh, aquatic. Synthetic and cheap, sure, but one of my favorite cheapies. It was an easy reach for me to go to. Because like I said, when you go a certain stretch without anything really fresh, you kind of start jonesing for it a little bit. At least I do. So I was in the mood for something fresh. So out the shower, Abercrombie and Fitch, First Instinct together. So moving into Thursday, I went back to the well because I've just been enjoying this one so much. Again, we're back with Soma Parfums Halcyon. I think this is such a great fragrance. I had such an awesome rotation this week, guys. Really. I mean, just showstopper after showstopper, because you guys will see as you sample these. Some of you have tried some of these, so you know where I'm talking about here. This is so good. I'm spraying it in the air again. Pressure sensitive. That was just a half a spray. A lot of spice at the top, like this cinnamon gingerbread type of spice at the top. So beautiful, very ambery. Not quite as boozy like I said before, but a little earthy and gets powdery. I do like that about it. Not heavily powdery, but a little powdery. It gets there. It starts to develop on my skin. Could just be my skin. I'm not sure. But magnificent stuff. Like I said, full review coming very soon. But during the day, it was a pleasure to wear this one again. Soma Parfums Halcyon. And then when I got at the shower, this is kind of a strange choice for out the shower, because I typically don't go with this, but it's one of my favorite violet leaf fragrances ever. It is Ferragamo, from Ferragamo, the 2020 release. I still have yet to try any of the flankers. I need to get the flankers at one point. They have spicy leather, intense leather. They got a few of them. They got like 3 flankers. This one's just so good. One of the better blue fragrances with a lot of green facets to it. I want to say it might be rosemary. Could be something else. I don't remember the green note to it, but it's dominated by violet leaf. God, it's so good. And this is another one with just a beautiful pressure-sensitive atomizer. I still say try the original before you try all the rest, which I haven't tried all the rest. I love the original, though. It's, like I said, one of the best blue fragrances to come out in many years. And if you like violet leaf, this is a must-try. If you don't like violet leaf, this is a complete pass for you, because it's kind of a violet leaf bomb. And I don't mean violet leaf like Fahrenheit. It doesn't have that robust petroleum type of smell to it. This is more ozonic, metallic, and slightly aquatic. Just a beautiful fragrance. Performance is very good as well. I don't think they're too expensive these days. 40, 50 bucks, and that's a good price for it, I think. But out the shower, Ferragamo. Moving into Friday. So this one on my skin is very interesting. When you see the note breakdown, it's quite the complex amalgamation of notes. But I'll try to give you guys the most simplest form of what I get on my skin so far through one wearing. Like I said, I've had test sprays and stuff like that. But this is Curly Scents and Zaharoff of the Immortals. Beautiful peach colored juice. Absolutely stunning stuff, guys. You can see names of the fragrance. It has this pearlescence to it. The texturing, that's actually Andrea's handwriting of the Immortals. Beautiful pearlescence to this one. We are definitely going to spray. So I get this gourmand facet, almost a hazelnut feel to it. I don't even remember if that's in the notes. But the main things, my main takeaways from this that dominate my skin scent, the scent coming off of my skin, it's boozy and nice and warm and spicy. Very unisex fragrance with some feminine tones and some masculine tones, because you'll get random nuances that will come and go. There's a creaminess here. It's, like I said, got a nice boozy hit. I believe cognac's in here. There's a sweetness that's not overdone. There's a woody complexity that starts to come in later in the fragrance. And like I said, I get a lot of warm spiciness on my skin. Another fantastic creation, as expected. I know a lot of you guys are excited because everybody loved the Siren. I get that. Siren was a fantastic fragrance. All 3 were fantastic fragrances, and that's the case here again. It's another 3-part collection of just magnificence. If you know, I know I'm biased by saying so because it's me and my friends doing this, but We aim to please with these scent profiles, and I think they hit it out the park once again, just like Justin did. The presentations are top-notch. Obviously, we're not covering the boxes right now because it's the weekly rotation. It's not a full review. I will do a full review on this one as well in the coming weeks as I spend more time with it. It's only been one full wearing so far. I need to get a few more wearings before I can really deep dive into the complexity of what I get from my skin through a few wearings. The wearing experience is not completely the same as test sprays. You can get an idea with a test spray, but wearing experience, as my friend Justin has told you guys many times, that's where it's at to really learn a scent. And like I said, the main takeaways here: gourmand facets, boozy, and spicy. And if any of that sounds exciting, all three are still available. If you want to get your pre-orders in, we'll be, like I said, we'll be shipping very end of the month, which is in about a week roughly. And yeah, get your orders in if you were interested. So, during the day, the magnificent new of the Immortals from Curly Scents and Zaharoff. Then I got the shower. It was time for a good shave. I was actually overdue for a shave. I went with my Razorrock Emperor shave set, which here is the aftershave splash. I seem slowly dropping that one down. And I like to typically go with a fragrance that fits the scent profile. So I went with Mont Blanc Explorer. Give me that Aventus feel without being exactly Aventus. I was just in the mood for light and easy. I didn't go with any of my Gentleman's Nod shave sets or Strike Gold shave or anything like that. I just wanted to lather real quick and go. And I was kind of in the mood for Fruity Fresh, which this is more pineapple Fruity Fresh heavy. Not really a smoky Aventus type of thing. And here, bergamot and Broxen, Akagali wood, stuff like that. Kind of a leathery feel. So not really super dark. So these kind of mesh well together. They kind of blend together to make more of an Aventus smell. So it's just, this has kind of been my go-to when I use this. I have a ton of fragrances that fit this vibe, but for some reason this seems to be the one that I find most pleasurable to wear. So out the shower, I had a good shave, went with Razorrock Emperor, which is a take on Aventus, and gave some sprays on Mont Blanc Explorer. Finally, on Saturday, I'm actually wearing it right now. I have 4 sprays around my neck. My wife told me I smelled like baby powder. I do get the sweetness from it, a little bit of a spicy rose smell, but I definitely get all the powder she's talking about. So if you don't like very powdery fragrances, you may not like this one, but it's my first wearing of Ministry of Oud Satin from Paris Corner. This is their clone of Oud Satin Mood from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, the Eau de Parfum. Even though theirs is an extrait, it's a clone of the Eau de Parfum. I'm loving this stuff. I really, really dig it because I love what it's cloning. And I think it's a great clone. Is it cheaper smelling than the original? Of course it is, but it's a $30 fragrance. It's a great $30 fragrance. I'm really enjoying this one. This is another one that I just did in a first impressions video. Make sure to check that out to kind of see my, I guess, random shock in many ways. But I will do a full review at some point. This one's going to be a little further down the line. There's others that are higher priority for me because I didn't do first impressions on them. You know, this one I did do a first impressions yesterday. It actually came out today at the recording of this. It was this morning's video. But this is really good stuff. I do have Greatest coming, from what I understand. That's their take on Oud for Greatness, which I have a great Oud for Greatness clone in Afnan Supremacy and Oud. So I'll probably do a comparison between the two because there's this version, the Ministry of Oud version, is kind of half the price. I paid $23 for it. It's half the price of what you can get Supremacy and Oud for. So we'll have to do a comparison and see if the Afnan's really worth the extra money, or can you just get this one? Because so far, just based off of Oud Satin, I'm impressed with the Ministry of Oud line. I may get Oud Royal next. I might get a few different ones because really digging this one. Still got a great sillage going. This is great for the money. During the day, Oud Satin from Ministry of Oud. And then I haven't taken my shower yet, obviously, but I'm just going to roll with this again. It was a pleasurable experience last night, so I'm just going to roll with Mont Blanc Explorer again. You can never go wrong. My wife loves how it smells. Why the hell not, you know? We'll spray it again. It's so good, so fresh. You should smell this room from all these strong fragrances I'm spraying. This is like the weakest fragrance I've sprayed besides Abercrombie and Fitch, which, I did spray that one. The out-the-shower fragrances are the weaker stuff, and they're average performers, you know what I mean? But definitely get your nose on this one if you haven't yet. There's hype behind it for a reason. I don't think it's the perfect fragrance, but I damn sure think it's a very good fragrance. Out the shower tonight, once again, it'll be Mont Blanc Explorer. Well, that was this week's rotation, and until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What did you wear this week? I'm very curious to read that. It's always my favorite comments to read every week. This is my favorite weekly formatted video. I just love doing it. It was a great week getting to wear all 3 Zed Creator creations this week. Both Andrea's and Justin's for the first time. Great wearing experiences. And then getting a few wearings out of Soma Parfums Halcyon. That stuff is so good as well. Just a bunch of great stuff this week. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these fragrances, you give them a spray now. Extremely confident you'll thank me later because they're all awesome. Have a good one, guys.